Okay, everyone, I'm going to do a quick tutorial here on how to make a Tableau map of the United States with insets for Hawaii and Alaska. You'll notice that if you're trying to do a map of the 50 U.S. states, that frequently you're left with spending a lot of your screen space on Canada and the Pacific Ocean. So here's a way around that, and we'll just go through it from beginning to end. So just starting from the beginning, we're going to connect to a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And what I have is just a very simple list of states and their populations here for this exercise. So we're going to go ahead and open that. And you can see right off the bat that our state column has the geo identifier on it, and our population number is looking good too. So the next step is to go to sheet number 1, and we're going to drag our state measure into columns and our population measure into rows. And you can see right off the bat we're building a chart here, and then we want to go up here to create a choropleth map. All right, so this is what I was talking about. When we do this, in order to include all 50 United States, we spend so much of our screen real estate on Canada and the Pacific Ocean that we lose impact of the smaller states in the lower 48, so on and so forth. So there's a nice way of doing this. And let's show you how it's done. Okay, so if you look down here where you have sheets, you can right click on that and duplicate the sheet, and we're going to do that twice. All right, so we're actually going to have 3 of these same sheets in here. So the first one, we're just going to click on that name, and we're going to call that lower 48. And then the next one we're going to call Alaska. And then the next one we're going to call Hawaii. All right. So the way that we're going to do this, accomplish what we're trying to, is through filtering. So if we go back to our lower 48 sheet, under where it says state, we can take this and drag this into filters. All right, so that's how this whole technique is going to work. All right, and what this does, it's sort of like working in Excel. We can filter out certain things. So for the lower 48, we're going to turn off Alaska and Hawaii, and that's it. Okay, so you can see that now that those are turned off, we're zoomed in on the lower 48. So next we do that with Alaska. We come in here and do the same thing. We drag state into filters, and this time we're going to select none and then turn back on Alaska, and now we're zoomed way into Alaska. And finally we're going to go to Hawaii and do the same thing. So drag state into filters, turn them all off, and then come back and turn Hawaii on. All right, so now we're zoomed in there really well. So finally, what we're going to do is we're going to assemble these in a dashboard. All right, so for our class, what we've been doing is we've been making a fixed size Tableau dashboard, and our standard dimensions are 800 by 800. And what we're going to do is continue to work in a tiled format right now. So first we're going to pull in, you can see, by the way, that all of our 3 different sheets are showing up here. So first we're going to pull in lower 48, and you can see that that kind of fills up the map, and we already have our scale bar over here. I'm just going to pull that down to the bottom. And then we have Alaska, and I'm going to pull that down to the bottom, or the middle in this case. And I'm going to take Hawaii, and I'm going to pull that in. Let's see if we can get that to light up right. Come on. There we go. To fit in there, right? And because we're going to need some place for text, In this case, I'm going to stay with tiled, and I'm going to pull in a text field over here, and we'll fill this out in a little bit. So I'll just put some placeholder text in there. All right, so here's the problem. What we have is we have a map of the lower 48, and you can see from the color coding that California is the most populous state, right? But we have Hawaii and Alaska, who both have pretty small populations, also coming in that darkest sort of range, right? So that's not working out for these. So what we have to do is adjust the color coding for all three maps to make sure that that works right. So the way we do that is we go back to our sheets and we go to our color, edit colors, and then we just go to advanced. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to set some standards here. We're going to set a start to 500,000 because that's a nice round number. So 500,000. And then we're going to set an end point. You can see that we're almost at 40 million. So why don't we just add that up to 40 million? 40 million. All right. And you can see that it doesn't change the way this is portrayed at all, right? So next we go to Alaska, and we do the same thing. We edit colors, we go to advanced, we set a start at 500,000 and an end point at 40 million. And hit OK. And now you can see that this is taking us back into that lighter range. So finally we do that for Hawaii, same thing. Edit colors, advanced, we set a start at 500,000 and an end at 40 million. If we can get that all selected. And we hit OK. All right, so now if we go back to our dashboard, we can see that the color coding is back in line with what we want this to look like. All right, so now it's really just a matter of sort of getting the map to look like the way we want it to. So we can edit this down to say something along the lines of U.S. population by state. And let's make that nice and big. Oh, select it, bold it, and now make it nice and big. All right. And for our insets, we can go a little bit smaller, still bold though. A little bit smaller, still bold. Okay. And then in here, what we can do is write, well, we'll just put in some more gobbledygook, but we'll make it look a little bit better. Let's see here. We'll select that and paste it a couple of times to indicate some text. Give a nice big subhead, and then we'll add a source. Let's do that upper lower. Okay, and we can make those italic and lighten those up a little bit. And then we do OK. All right, so you can see that by doing this, we have eliminated that issue with taking up too much space with the Pacific Ocean and Canada. We could even grant it a little more space. We'll just pay attention to not cropping out our information there And so something like that should get us pretty close. And that's really all there is to it. So when you save that, you'll get your embed code, and then that's what you would put in your blog post. So that's it. I hope that was pretty simple and straightforward. Thanks for watching.